Hey guys, so I got a phone call on Saturday, which made me rethink what is the best seat in the lodge. So let's knock 3 times and let's get this started. Hey guys, it's Z back with another episode of Observing Freemasonry today. And like I said, I was walking through Walmart doing my grocery shopping, getting ready for the weekend of wild card games for football. And I got a phone call from a local area that I didn't recognize, and reluctantly I kind of answered, was, kind of gave that gruff like hello kind of thing, and on the other end of the line I get, hey, worshipful Zmosity, and I was like, okay, someone I can trust, And come to find out, it's a brother of a local lodge, I believe their worshipful master, and he was telling me that unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, one of our members had passed away, and the family was requesting a Masonic memorial. Now, to put this all in context, and this happens probably way more than it should, but it does happen. Brother becomes a member of your lodge, he moves away. You do your best to send trestle boards and call in on him and check and things like that. But, time kind of just slips away a little bit, and, he gets a lot older. And actually, he was one of our, if not our oldest, was the second oldest and most living oldest past master. And, he was probably in his 80s, 85, somewhere in that area. And so when his family, when he passed away, his family didn't know who to contact. The funeral home in the town that he was living contacted their local Masonic lodge, who then went on search to find my number, in which they were able to find, and they gave me a call and said, hey, one of your brothers has passed away. They need a Masonic memorial service. Can we make this happen? They gave me the number to the funeral director and things like that. And within about 4 hours or so of him getting the phone call to me calling back the funeral director type thing, we had everything squared away. And I'm always so incredibly happy that I belong to a fraternity that when push comes to shove, we take care of each other. And it may take a couple of hours to do that, but at the end of the day, we're going to do our absolute best to make sure we take care of them. And, unfortunately for me, that brother, who contacted me is in a different state, and it's not like state like across the United States. He's literally across just a simple border. And most of the time we're supposed to talk Grand Lodge to Grand Lodge, to make sure that nothing bad happens and that they can talk amongst themselves, and then they get back to us. But at the end of the day, brothers are brothers, and when it comes down to taking care of family, that's what we do, no matter what we should necessarily be doing with talking from Grand Lodge to Grand Lodge. And, almost everyone understands and gets it. And I'm so happy to be part of this fraternity for that reason. But it really got me thinking about what is the best seat in the lodge, and that has to be the chaplain, right? And so I think there are a couple of reasons which I'm going to share with you today. I think one, it's absolutely the best spot in the lodge because we begin every meeting and end every meeting with a prayer. And we're told that we should never engage in any great or important undertaking without first invoking the blessing of deity, and that's the case. And we're not just talking necessarily about meetings, although that's probably the most common way that we show that. If you were to think of your meetings as a great and important undertaking, and as a worshipful master, you should be thinking of that, because that is what your lodge meetings should be to you, and how much effort you put into them. That's a side note, by the way, anyway, sorry. But I know a lot of us, we begin some of even our most mundane tasks with just a simple prayer. Maybe we're getting started on a long road trip. Perhaps we're, a band director, and we're starting to have a concert, and we just kind of give one of those quick and silent ones that like, oh dear God, I really mean this. Can you please just let this be a good night? Make sure everything goes okay. No one gets hurt, and families are happy. Maybe you're one of those guys that's, in the military, or you're in a public service, kind of like you're one of our first responders, and, you give that quick silent prayer when you get ready to run into a burning building or face off with someone that has, a gun pointed at you, or knives, or, you're trying to resuscitate someone who may not make it. And you say that prayer while you're doing it, just trying to hope for the best. And, are we saying our prayers? Hopefully the answer is yes, because we start every great and important undertaking with them. And the chaplain is a great reminder of that, especially when we start and end our meetings. I always find it funny that whenever we talk about the Holy Bible, the square and the compasses, that it's the Holy Bible that we talk about first. It's not the square and it's not the compasses. It's the Holy Bible. And again, reiterates the idea that the Holy Bible should be the first thing in our lives. Now, this isn't an incredibly conservative view of what most people would normally say. But in my life, if I'm able to focus on the Supreme Architect, then being a better father, husband, brother, son becomes a lot easier, or should be a lot easier, because when you have trust and faith in your Supreme Being, then everything else kind of falls in line. And I would argue that if any of my brothers right now are having a hard time in life, and maybe things aren't going your way, have you lost sight of asking the Supreme Architect for guidance and making sure that your Supreme Architect is the center of your life. Just like when the chaplain, and again, he's great at teaching us this and helping us remember, he goes to the altar. And where's the altar? It's in the center of the lodge. So the question is, are you keeping your faith at the center of your life? Just another reason why I think the chaplain is absolutely a fantastic position. Not because it's, excuse me, demanding most of the time in ritual. It's not. They have like only 3 or 4 different things that they have to say, most of which are just really repetitive over all of the degrees and things along those lines. So there's like 1 or 2 that kind of go above and beyond. It's not because that I think it's a great position, especially for, those members with which the almond tree is flourishing, that are a little bit older and maybe can't always do all the floor work, or maybe their memory's slipping a little bit, and so we still keep them active by making them chaplains. Not for any of that, and I realize also, and we talk about this in our installation ceremonies, it's not one of necessarily, you don't have to be an ordained minister to be the chaplain, but just there to kind of help us remember where our focus should be. But if you've never been to a Masonic memorial, then you're missing out, because the true essence of what the best seat in the lodge is right there at the Masonic Memorial. And that's the reason I'm making this video, right? Because the Masonic Memorial is happening in just a couple hours from now. And having been the worshipful master and having been the chaplain too, I can tell you that there is, unfortunately, no better position in lodge than the chaplain when you have to pray for that family and you pray for the soul of that lost brother. It's hard. It is god-awful hard, especially if it's a brother that you knew and that you kind of maybe you brought in, maybe he was your mentor. I can tell you very sincerely, during those prayers that I've had to give, even as worshipful master, there's been at least a good 3 or 4 times where I'm trying my best not to break down, and in between sobs, I'm just trying to get through the ceremony because it's just so wrenching. And the chaplain is the one that really makes that happen. At a time when that family could be absolutely devastated at the loss of that brother, it's the chaplain that's praying for them to give them comfort and consolation. And what better essence of a fraternity than not only praying for the soul of that brother who's no longer with us, but trying to take care of those people that he's, left behind. To let them know that we're still there for them, and that if they need anything, they can just give us a call. That, our hearts respond to their hearts in their grief. It's an amazing, amazing officer lodge. Not because you necessarily get anything out of it, but for the chaplain, it's giving so much back to those brothers and to those families. And that is why I think the chaplain is the best seat in the lodge. So until next time, stay fervent.